This video covers what I want you to do in addition to the directions in the book. The directions are in the Dropbox, and I want you to do these things for all your assignments. So first thing I want you to do is turn on print grid lines. So first of all, I'm going to show you what it looks like before you do any of these things. If I go to File and I go to Print, this is Chapter 1, Project 2, according to the book's directions before I do anything else. So I have no grid lines, I have nothing in the footer. So to return to the spreadsheet, I click on the arrow to the left. So first thing I want you to do is turn on Print Grid Lines. So go to the Page Layout tab in the Sheet Options group. Under Grid Lines, click on Print. And I'm going to show you, for each thing I do, I'm going to show you what it looks like in print. So if I go back to File and Print, now I can see the grid lines. This is just my preference. It makes it easier to read. Second thing I want you to do is insert a footer. Footer is at the bottom of every page, including your name, the sheet name, and the file name. Right now my file name is 1-fill cells, and I'm going to change that later, but I'm going to insert the footer, then change it and show you what it looks like. So to insert a footer, click on Insert. In the text group, click on Header and Footer. That puts me at the header. Header is at the top of every page. Click on Footer, go to Footer. Puts me at the bottom of the page. On the left side, type in your first and last name. Then either tab or click in the box in the middle. And then what I want you to do is insert the sheet name. Sheet name is this right here. If I change it, it will change here. So don't type it, but click on the button that says sheet name. I'm in the Header and Footer Tools tab and on the Design tab. Click on sheet name, and it puts in the code for the sheet name, but then when I click outside of that tab, it puts in the actual sheet name. Click in the box on the right. Click in the code for file name, not file path, but file name. File path would be C:\/MyDocuments\Excel. I just want the file name. Click on file name, puts in the code for file name, click outside of it, and it puts in the file name that is in the title bar. Now to get out of the header and footer, click anywhere in your worksheet. And Excel by default puts you into page layout view. I want to have it in normal view because that's industry standard. So click on normal, and you can't do that while you're in the footer. So you have to actually click outside of the footer to get into normal view. And it puts you below page 1, so to get back to the top, hold down Control, hit the Home key, and that puts you on A1. Control Home is the same in all your Microsoft programs. It always puts you at the top of the document. And again, if I go back to File and Print, there's my grid lines, and there's my footer. So name's on the left, sheet name is in the middle, file name is on the right. I'm going to go back. Now I want you to save all your files with the file name space your last name. So right now it's the file name according to the book, which is chapter number - file name. So to add my last name at the end, go to File, go to Save As, and you can do this as soon as you save it. I'm saving all these in EL1C1, which is Excel Level 1, Chapter 1. Click at the end of the file name. You may or may not have XLSX at the end of the file name. If you don't worry about it. It's just how your computer is set up. But what you want to do is be after the file name, but before .xlsx, hit space, and type in your last name. Make sure you put in space, not dash or anything else. And then hit save. I already have one, so that's why I'm getting the error message. So now up in the title bar, it has my file name, which is chapter number - file name space last name. And now if I go to File Print, down in the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, but down in the bottom now it says 1-fill cell space Anderson. So if I change my sheet name or my file name, it automatically adjusts here. The other thing I want you to do on all your assignments, and they have you do this in Chapter 1, but they have you do it the long way, is to resize to fit, and that's what I call it. So what I want you to do is to resize the whole worksheet to fit the largest entry in this worksheet. I'm going to add something out in I just to make it obvious what it's doing. You don't have to do this. So after you get all your typing done, all your formulas done, all your formatting done, what you do is you click on the Select All button, which is between the A and the 1. It's got a triangle on it. And then point to the vertical line between any two columns and double click. And what it does is it makes each column as wide as it needs to be. So now this column with my initials in it is very narrow, but then this column, which has the word average in it, is wider. Make this show up a little bit bigger. Now, if you're in the face-to-face class, you're going to print this. If you're in the online class, you need to save this as file name space last name space values. Values meaning it shows you the actual answers. So I'm going to show you how to save it as values. If you're printing it, you do not need to do the save as values. So file, save as, same folder, and then at the end of the folder, end of the file name, space, values. I'm doing it in uppercase. You don't have to. It just makes it easier to separate values from formulas. Hit enter. And then I want you to save it as formulas. If you're in the face-to-face class, you need to print it as formulas. And if you're in the online class, you need to save it as formulas because you're obviously not printing anything. So to display formulas, it's Control tilde. Tilde is left of the 1. And it displays all your formulas. It does not automatically adjust for size, so if you notice down here, my formula is cut off. So then you need to resize to fit again. Click on the Select All button, point to any vertical line. Once you get the double arrow, double click. And then what it does is it makes each column as wide as it needs to be. So you can see this column is a lot wider than this column. And again, if you're in the face-to-face class, you print it. It will look like this. This one actually doesn't fit on one page, so if you can print on one page, that's better. Do not do scaling. Never do scaling. That's my personal preference. It will take a font that's 12 points and make it 2 points. It'll make your entire worksheet the size of a postage stamp. So I would rather have it print on 2 pages than have it scaled down. So I'm going to change this from portrait to landscape. And then almost fits on one page. And I'm going to change the margins to narrow. My problem is I put in my initials on the second page, so you won't have that problem. Change it to landscape if you need to. Change it to narrow margins if you need to fit it on one page, but if it goes beyond a page, do not make it any narrower. And do not, again, do scaling. There's one exercise in the book where they have you do scaling. I just don't want you to do that. Click on the arrow to the left. So if you were in the face-to-face class, you would print it this way. If you're in the online class, you would save it this way. So for the online class, you do File, Save As. Double click on the word values. Type in the word formulas. And hit enter. And that will look like this. So the face-to-face class will print as values, print as formulas. The online class will save as values, save as formulas, and upload both of them. And that's what you need to do for all the assignments. Thanks.